Hey, folks, welcome back to American Agenda. Bob Sellers here with Heather Childers. And since November 3rd, multiple states have certified their election results. But there has been pushback regarding electoral college certification. Joining us now to discuss which electors can actually be sent to the electoral college, as well as a potential path to victory for the president that could still be in play, Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. So, Tom, educate us a little bit as far as how this works. As I understand it, the states are supposed to pick the electors, but I've never been clear if that means they pick which electors just to be members of the Electoral College, or whether that means they pick the electors that go to the Electoral College.
Well, that's one of the questions that is now being debated across the land now. Look, under our system, we don't have the right to vote under the Constitution for the presidency. We have that right to vote because the state legislatures, who ultimately decide who the electors are to go to the Electoral College, have authorized citizens to exercise the franchise in that regard. Now, in the case of an election that's been compromised, as has been alleged in several states, the states still have that power. The state legislatures still have that plenary power under the Constitution, it's argued. And so, therefore, for instance, in Pennsylvania, if the Pennsylvania legislature thinks that what happened in Pennsylvania has compromised what the lawful result is, they can appoint what I would call a clean slate of electors or choose not to appoint electors at all. Secondarily, in Congress, when it comes to Congress in January 6th, you can have members of the House and the Senate object to electors' slates from states whose elections have been called into question. Or in the case of, let's say, Wisconsin or Michigan, where you've got Pennsylvania, where you have dueling a governor who's a Democrat and a state legislature that's Republicans, you could have dueling slates of electors appointed, and it'd be up to Congress to figure out which ones to endorse. So it's not over until, frankly, Congress decides these outcomes in January, if then.
Tom, I wanted to ask you, you didn't mention Arizona and Georgia, and I know one of the things that you've been talking about is in those two states in particular, the state legislatures don't have to wait on the governor's or the governor's permission to meet. Why is that significant?
Well, because the argument is that, well, they can't do anything about their elections because the governors have not called them into session under their respective state laws. And that requirement is at odds with the constitutional power granted to the legislature to decide who the electors are. And it's my view, and, it would be an unusual circumstance, but the law is that it seems to me the Constitution would allow the legislature to take whatever step they deem necessary to approve electors with or without the governor's approval.
And in that scenario, you are laying out a situation, and I'm not saying that this is not possible, but that there would be, let's pick a number in Arizona, for instance. I think there are 17 Republican senators, 31 representatives that are Republican. Theoretically, around 50 people could decide what electors to send instead of 3.4 million votes, that sort of thing. Correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't read it that way. I would read that they had a result on the Tuesday of the election. And there's been disputes about how the votes that were counted after the election, the mail-in ballot process, was handled. So they're not confident those votes are lawful. And so they're not going to count them towards the total.
Yeah, well, then you're saying, yes, that's a possibility because they feel that it may have been fraudulent. Mm-hmm. So that would be...
Yeah, I mean, in the least, these state legislatures need to figure out if these results are valid, given all the legitimate concerns out there, before December 8th or just before December 14th, whatever the last date they have under law is.
Yeah, a fascinating scenario and conversation. Tom Fitton, thank you, sir.
Hey, Tom, great to talk to you.